and gentlemen, welcome to the CSR AdviceBox studio. I'm Marina Stefanova, and step by step we are discussing the whole elements of the sustainability agenda in your business. How to implement it, what to implement, and how to follow the progress. Today is our last video from this season series, and I'm a little emotional. So are my colleagues who are taking all this video shooting and preparation of the series for you. That is why I chose to speak for communication and corporate social responsibility and their interlinkage. It is not that communications are not important. On the contrary, they are one of the most important instruments in order to give life for any CSR activities, starting from the strategy, finishing into the KPIs and announcing your progress. Still, they are our partners and they can understand that even being last, they are our most loyal friend. Together, we will discuss several aspects, but not from the communications themselves, because this is not the goal of this series. So we are going to discuss what is the interlinkage, what are the opportunities that you can choose in order to communicate the issues and how to communicate the issues of CSR agenda, and finally, is it worth spreading the word of mouth for them? Take a cup of coffee, a piece of very delicate milk chocolate, sit down comfortably in your chair, look at the screen, put your headphones on, and let's start for a last time for this season. Here we will not give any definition on communications because it's a different profession. What I want to focus on is that they are crucial for the stakeholder engagement, for bringing into life of any paper related to CSR, including environmental, social, economical governance, being able to attract and engage in a long term our employees, being able to discuss the advantages and disadvantages of our products and services. I'm sure you don't have any disadvantages of your products and services. And finally, are helping us very much in building our crucial point of our work, the sustainability report. The main purpose of the CSR communications can be focused on 6 main headings, namely stakeholder engagement, image enhancement, legitimacy and accountability, attitude and behavioral change, sense-making, and identity and meaning creation. Here I'm going to share with you the rule of 4 I's, which really impressed me. R's like CSR, integration, interpretation, identity, and image. Let's look them carefully. What is CSR integration? This means that you can use communications in order to engage the stakeholders, in order to gather all the feedback necessary. So, what is it? CSR integration means that you use communications to be able to engage your stakeholders, internal and external, be able to spread the word, to extract their feedback, to be able to gather it together and turn CSR into integral part of your company policy, core business activities, and performance indicators. Second, CSR interpretation is focused on internal stakeholders, but mainly the most added value comes from the from the shared narrative. What is the language that we use in the company? What are the words that we use to describe our value, our mission, our principles for work, or the values that we have while operating. On the other hand, CSR identity is focused to build trust and to build an image into the external stakeholders. Thus, they can identify the company, they can be more concrete, they can recognize it among other competitors from this branch. The fourth I, which is CSR image, is also focused on external stakeholders. We all know that there is a difference from the identity we have and the image we would like to sell and to show to the world. If they are together, this is great. Usually they are not. So this is the CSR image, is the story, is the value that you want to sell to all your stakeholders from outside. My favorite practical question: how does the perfect communication look like? First, you have to prove us that the CSR activities we already perform align to the strategy of the company, align with your targets and with your ambitions to spread on the market. Second, be precise and accurate. Just leave the blah blah things out of the story, because when we discuss CSR, it is a very concrete matter. Last, I believe in you, dear communicators. You can make from the raw data a very interesting, innovative story. A story that can be told not only by you or the official PR department of the company, but from every employee who can become ambassador of our mission, values, and added value. Because this is our last series, I would afford myself to mention several mistakes that are one of the biggest mistakes in communication I've seen around. First, we have a great story to tell, but not yet. Come on, guys, it's really not serious. You have to discuss everything, communicate everything, even if it's still in the process of implementation or a process of adoption. You have to keep us updated. Do not save it for last, because then it's not going to be news anymore. Second, the opposite of lack of information is huge amount of information that you send to everybody. Don't do it. Just pick the important topics. I know that everybody should be involved, but not on every single data, every single day, for every single KPI that we already achieved. Third, communication is different from operation. What does it mean? This means literally the word greenwashing. So we are making as everyday business one thing, but we are speaking about other things. Discussing this, I've witnessed many communicators to avoid the material issues. This is completely related with the motion of missing all the negative information as well. Do not be afraid to share the truth as it is. The least thing you will reach is trust, because nobody always believes in fairy tales, and you are not telling us one. Another mistake, which I could also define as a big one, is to skip the stakeholders. This means that you have a communication, you send it to, for example, to media, but you don't coordinate it with the crucial, with the involved ones. Don't do it, because I don't think it's going to work. What you need is trust from them in order to say yes to the message you are sending, to have the same message to our external audiences. So use them and do not skip them. On the other hand, what I've also seen are several attempts of being reactive and not proactive. Maybe you're doing great things, you know about them, but you don't tell anybody. This means that sooner or later, being asked on something, you will be in a position to justify yourself. Why didn't you tell us before? we were thinking completely different things about you and your company. If we focus on the data, another very oftenly met mistake is that you don't give too much quantities. A story is good to tell, smiling faces are sometimes very good to see, but please provide the audiences with quantities and do not be afraid to share them. Also, make them readable, another mistake. If you cannot compare with something, if you don't put it in a context, nobody will understand what does exactly it means. Finally, the biggest one. I've already discussed it in the series for the non-financial reporting. Let's repeat it here now. Do not focus only on the sustainability report. I know it is the most important piece of communication, which is uniting all information throughout the year, but do not make it 100 plus pages. This means that you didn't communicate anything before or during the year. Just be precise, concrete, and answer to the objective, to the goal to have a report, but do not put everything in it. Communication is a continuous process. It is a business, and it is very important to have it as a successful business. So first, what you need is a good communicator. A communicator who knows what are the primary social, environmental, and economic concerns from various stakeholders related to your business and share them. Second, a person who is really passionate but not too pushy and not too dreamy, so he is able to be, or she is able to build trust among the various stakeholders and groups. A person who can work very good with data, so he is in good relations with everybody in the company who provides this data regularly. And finally, being able to communicate the message across, being a good mediator. Second, we need to have a communication plan. I know that it depends from the size of the company and the industry, but at least it has to contain several of these issues. Identifying the internal and external audiences and their particular needs. Identifying resources available to address communication and resources where you will take the data from. Identifying and selecting possible communication methods. Reviewing their relative advantages, disadvantages, effectiveness, and cost. And providing relevant information to personnel and other parties involved in the implementation of the CSR strategy. In addition, we have to think of a communication plan for every single CSR project we start. In the beginning, for the introduction, we have to be able to speak with all stakeholders, to discuss with them what it is about, what are the concrete objectives, and how we expect all the process to go on. Then, the supportive communication should happen during the CSR phases or the CSR implementation actions. So we keep them informed, updated, and they are open for all the changes that are coming. And third, final communication, which is coming in the end of every project in order to discuss with the internal audiences whether it was successful, what is going to come next, how we are going to upgrade or develop this project, or how we are going to share the results with it. And external, if it goes with branding, or it goes with introduction of new product services, or there is a new logo that is coming, everything should be in plan for the proper project, not only relying for the CSR communication strategy overall. Here are some small tips for effective communication in the field of CSR. First, whenever it's possible, use external data providers. Use researchers, use independent sociological data or other kinds of verified This will prove that you are aligned with the existing reality and you are not imagining your own. Second, build the trust and build the understanding of the CSR through the word of mouth of your clients and of your employees. They will not only say the narrative, they will testimony that it is the correct thing, it is the thing they trust in. Third, be aware what the perceptions of the stakeholders for your industry are. If it's in general a negative one, this is your also starting point. It is some kind of a positive thing, or it is proactive or innovative industry, then you should also align with this starting point. Last but not least, do not communicate everything that happens. Choose the hot issues, the hot priorities, and focus on them in order to be able to give the perception in everyone that you are always on the top, always in the news, always knowing what's right, what's relevant to the audiences, and how you are impacting exactly the right problems, tackling the right issues, or giving smart solutions to the worst problems. It is an ongoing process. Please have it in mind. Have it foreseen in your annual budget. Be able to have something to say, or being in a process of engaging with various stakeholder groups during the whole time. Maybe planning can have 6-10 months, but then the implementation and the follow-up are continuously going on. So take into account one last tip. When you start a project, you have to have at least 2 or 3 months communications before it starts. In fact, and in the end, the dissemination phase of the results of the new vision, of the impact that you already performed, is also going to take at least 1 month follow-up after finishing the CSR activities. I don't think that there is a separate cost that you can put on the implementation of the communication plan concerning CSR. What you have to do is put a budget line on communication in every different separate CSR project, thus being able to market the whole sum of it, to calculate the whole sum. Additionally, separately from this, what you have to know is that you have to put emphasis in your annual communication plan on some of the key, the most important CSR activities around the year. So you can split the budget into 2, or you can put in 2 places and in 2 departments various budget lines, but you have to align and coordinate it during the whole process. I think that I already convinced you that communication is crucial for all business processes, and especially for the implementation of sustainability in your company. It builds trust, it creates engagement, it enhances legitimacy of your company, it finally makes it happen, this transformative power that is going to change your core subject, for example, from products to services, or from a normal business to a responsible business. This is what communication brings on the table. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being with me, Marina Stefanova, in the CSR AdviceBox studio today and all 10 months before this. Thank you for subscribing to our YouTube channel and becoming one of our online society of CSR practitioners worldwide. I really appreciate that you went and pre-buy our series, because this you help us to be financially viable. You know that this is not commercial project, so we needed your support, and thank you for this. I will not say that I'm looking forward to seeing you in 2 weeks, but I hope that we will meet each other In the autumn, when the next season is starting, I'm quite urgent to start working on it during the summer. But during the summer, you should not work on this. You have to find time and place to enjoy yourself, to travel to unknown places, to enjoy life. And don't forget, be responsible, so will be your business.